Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to day 2 of Div 2 here at the Australian Ultimate Championships. We've got a great game coming up for you, Status Quo versus Chile. It's going to be a top of the pool match. This is going to decide who goes top of the pool and potentially gets an early day here. Whoever wins will finish the day up on 2 games and they'll go through to their quarter tomorrow morning ahead of their semi and then their final, potentially 3 games on the last day of play. We're going to go to the toss. We've got Owen Shepherd here and one of the captains of Chile. Off you go, lads.
Hi, Owen.
Owen, Alex is my company.
Cheers, Alex. Okay, I'll call it if you want.
Yep.
Design up.
Ooh, design down. We will take defense, please.
Okay, we'll take that end.
Sounds good. All right, no worries. You guys are happy in white, I take it?
Yep, we'll go white together.
Beautiful.
Owen, we'll start with you, mate. You're currently undefeated. Big game here. What's going to be the key for winning this one for you?
We're asking our O-line to be consistent and adapt to whatever Chile throw at us. And on D, we're going to have a lot of talk, a lot of communication, and rehearse the strategies we've been working on.
So you've had a bit of time at training then, by the sounds of it?
Some. Rain-affected season has affected a few things, but we've had a few tournaments now under our belt to start really building that teamwork and cohesion for what's a new club this year.
All right, brilliant. Thank you for your time, Owen. Good luck for the game. We're going to go to Alex, one of the captains of Chile. Come over, Alex. So this is fresh chili, I believe.
That's right. Fresh chili, yeah.
Tell me about these selections. How was fresh chili chosen out of the Chile Ultimate Club?
Okay, well, we start off with quite a large squad at tryouts, all tried out together. And what we did was we picked a sort of an elite squad where there wasn't any sort of pick between Div 1, Div 2, nothing like that. All together, about 40 or so people. And then a couple of weeks down into the season, we split off into our Div 1 squad, our A team, and then Fresh is our sort of our new fresher line of legs and things like that.
So what is the goal here for Chile this weekend?
The goal is, well, I mean, we haven't set anything in particular. We're just going to try and play as hard as we can and do as well as we can, really. There's, no specific goal in mind, but, just play well.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Alex. Good luck for the game.
Cheers, thank you so much.
We're going to go back to your commentators after this short video.
Ultimate is a non-contact team sport, with 7-a-side on the field and played with a flying disc.
The field is 100 metres long, including 18-metre end zones, and is 37 metres wide.
A goal is scored by completing a pass in the end zone.
Ultimate is self-refereed.
Players are responsible for upholding the rules and for resolving fouls and violations themselves.
Each point starts with a pull. Teams line up in opposing end zones, and the defensive team will throw to the offensive team to start play.
After every goal, teams swap ends.
The team that scored starts the next point on defense.
The disc is moved around the field by throwing it to teammates.
Once players have the disc, they set a pivot foot like netball or basketball and can't move from there.
Players have 10 seconds to throw the disc.
This is counted out loud by the closest defender.
An incomplete pass is a turnover, no matter who touched it last. When a foul or violation call is made, players will discuss whether they agree on what happened.
If they agree, the call is uncontested and the fouled player retains possession.
If they don't agree, the call is contested and play resets to where the last completed pass was.
If a player anticipates a collision with another player, they can call pick to pause the play.
If the pause didn't affect the outcome of a throw, play resumes.
If it did affect the outcome, play resets to the last completed pass.
First to 15 goals wins the game.
However, at 80 minutes, time cap is called and the score target is reduced to 1 more than the current winning score.
For example, if the score at time cap is 12-10, the new target score is 13.
You can't run the clock down. Teams have to score the last goal to win the game.
What is spirit of the game?
It's knowing the rules and when they apply.
It's avoiding body contact wherever possible.
It's keeping a positive attitude and enjoying the sport.
It's being fair-minded even when the game is on the line.
It's communicating respectfully with your opponent.
Good morning and welcome to our second game of day 2. We have an absolute treat in store, Fresh Chili versus Status Quo. Fresh Chili coming out of Victoria, Status Quo, a New South Wales team, but a lot of imports as well as they prepare for their tilt at the World Masters Club Championships later this year in Limerick, Ireland. My name's Andy Moroney. Really happy to be bringing this game to you alongside Millie Crow. Millie, welcome.
Good morning.
Excellent, as we said, both teams undefeated coming into this. Excellent game, I think, in store. It should be really evenly matched. Anything that you're particularly looking forward to part of this game?
I'm looking forward to seeing Status Quo's experience against some of the youthful athleticism coming from Fresh Chili, and seeing how that goes today in slightly windy conditions, but quite nice playing conditions.
Yeah, and as we look at their team sheet, there are too many big names to reel off just one player. We are looking at probably close to 100 years, as the first pool will be a brick. Probably close to 100 years of experience between Status Quo in their team. We have Dingoes, we have Crocs, we have Barramundis, everyone from representative teams. Owen Shepherd, Anthony Dow, Gus Keenan, the Roxburghs, Bloomers, Weimers. Pretty impressive that they're all still going around, and it'll be said, Fresh Chili, like you say, a bit more youthful, but also with some experienced players on their line, Regaki and Junker. So it should be an absolute treat as we see Troy Booth pick up the disc, taps it in. Status Quo running a Horo. Feidler on the sideline. Goes to Weimer. Weimer down low, reels it in. Feidler moves back as the dump, has the swing open to Booth if he wants it, elects not to. Instead, goes to Sean Mahoney. Mahoney up Sasha gets up the line. Sasha wants it around break, can't get one. Booth goes up the line, not on it. Instead, Ewan Weimer comes out. He wants the big around instead, throws the inside to Mahoney, and Sean Mahoney throws the first goal to Ewan Weimer. Status Quo on the board.
Opening up that break side was quite effective. Fresh Chili was really keeping Status Quo on the sideline closest to us, but then they got around and got that goal.
Yeah, excellent start from Status Quo. Good flow.
It's beautiful conditions here at Nelson Bay, about 20 degrees. Sunshine has been peeping through the clouds, makes a difference from some of the wet weather that has been down here for the last couple of weeks. So it's beautiful playing conditions today. Slight breeze, on and off. We have Status Quo on defence and Fresh Chili receiving the pool.
Our first look at Fresh Chili's offence. Some familiar faces, more experienced players on this line. Steve Thomas, one of their key receivers, Mark Junker as well. And this pool looks like it's going to land in. It'll be Junker to receive. And moves it out to Moskovich. Joel, no mark on. Booth slow to get down off the pool, and now applies some pressure on the mark. He moves Junker out, nice around throw, shows too much of it to Sean, and Sean barrels Mark.
Looks like there's a call and a discussion of the call right now.
Unfortunate for Sean because Joel probably threw it behind Mark, but affected probably his second bid. So they might get the thoughts of a game advisor here. We'll see if we can listen in.
Forward, perhaps.
Okay.
And then you come in there.
Yeah.
So,
okay, yep.
what do you want to do?
It will be a turnover. Probably the right outcome there. They tap it in. So an excellent chance for Status Quo to put in their first break of the game. Booth picks up, moves it to Sash once again. That handler pair. Vidler marked by Thomas. The hammer goes up. Sean Mahoney's everywhere. He's in all over it at the moment.
Beautiful hammer there. Status Quo get the break.
And already we're going to see the first time out of the game. Wow. Okay.
Fresh Chili calling the timeout there. Probably a chance just to get Fresh Chili in, shake off some of those nerves, regroup.
Interesting. It's very early. It's a very early timeout call. You know, if they drop 3 in a row, that's typically where you'll see teams maybe burn one to kind of readjust and try something new. But they've been broken once. But you know, stop the rot, I guess.
Watching Status Quo at the Eastern Regionals, I know they were playing for the Div 1 position against I-Beam, and they got quite a few breaks ahead and took half. I think it was 8-3. So perhaps Fresh Chili's just trying to stop that flow before they get away.
Yeah, it'd be fascinating to hear what the message was, and I think, Dan, you've actually got some insight for us.
Well, last game, Andy, you were asking, was it a message, was it a spray? That message was bordering on a spray. The instruction, do better on defense. We're letting them win. We need to pick it up.
After the second point. Okay. And Dan, do you know who delivered that that message?
I'll go and find out for you.
Okay. All right. They've clearly strapped their angry pants on because, 2 points in. I mean, it's the first break. Certainly you want to come out strong, but I'm not sure that we've had all that much to actually go off.
So it was Andy Steed's coach of Fresh Chili.
Fresh Chili, wow. Unusual because Andy's quite usually a polite Brit. So clearly he's seen something that he's not happy with at all. But hopefully it acts as a wake-up call. Little kick in the pants for Fresh Chili. Let's see if they can come out and put their first offense in. So Status Quo, nice start. Let's see if they can capitalise. Offside pull. Are they going to call it? No, they elect just to run it. And unfortunately, can't convert. So Charlie Bloomer, but there's a foul called. Charlie Bloomer, great to see him still going around. Rocking a pretty luscious mop. Bloomer moves it back to Makara Kerr. And this one will be a pick. Will Makara Kerr, the Spirit captain for Status Quo. Some of the old cranky men on this team, he might be called into action come Limerick, but let's see how we go. Throws a knife, big around. Ewan just gets there on the bid. Had to bid a couple of times so far this game, Ewan. Makara Kerr moves out wide. Owen Shepherd. Shep puts a hammer up all alone, easy as you like. Is that Mahoney again? Sean Mahoney? I think it is. So I'm pretty sure he's caught 2, thrown 1.
Number 16, yes, Sean Mahoney. It's the second hammer goal for Status Quo.
And pretty much the exact opposite of what Fresh Chili were hoping to get coming out of that timeout. Unforced error. Charlie went to throw, was fouled. Interesting sidearm around, reeled in well by Ewan.
Great catch there.
Over to Owen Shepherd. Didn't need to think twice about it.
And all alone in the end zone there.
Sean Mahoney. Started well. So as we mentioned, Status Quo, a Masters team, heading over for World Club Masters. So for those unfamiliar, Masters over 33, I think it is. And the club championships, so rather than representing your country, like you would at maybe the Olympics, you are representing your club, similar to Champions League over in the football world. Have you played? Yeah, and Millie, you're actually going to World Clubs, I think.
Yeah, I'm heading over with the mixed team, but Status Quo is the only men's team from Australia coming.
As Troy Booth puts up a flick pull to Moskovich. And Tom Regaki's on the field now. Tom gets it. They're running a primary play. Tom sees it.
Will he get there? Running.
What a throw, what a goal.
Harrison White with the goal in the end zone.
Tom Regaki's arrived, everyone. Beautiful throw. Nice set play quite clearly. Moskovich found him. Tom puts a lovely floating backhand.
Fresh Chili are on the board.
So Moskovich hitting Gak. He was on the sideline, but saw enough that he liked.
Fresh Chili just looking a little bit more buoyant there on the line, ready for the defence.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of, when you get on the board, life becomes a bit easier. 3-1 the score. Status quo jumped out, but Chile on the board now. Harrison White catching the goal, showing it to Tom, just making sure he knew. So let's see if Fresh Chile can respond.
Matthias with the pull.
Parker moves it to Shepherd. Owen Shepherd, part of a great Frisbee family. Warwick and Kenny also playing, as well as their sister in the women's division. Cara Kerr. He looks at one long, deep disc. Height wins out, you can't teach tall. Bit of an interesting grab.
Anthony Dow with the score there. There seem to be a few status quo singular players free down the field, so it'll be interesting to have another look at Chile's defence there.
I mean, if you're going to put a disc under someone, it may as well be Ant Dow. He's been pulling those down for 20 years across Barramundis, Crocs, Dingoes, all kinds of Australian representative teams. And unfortunately, as you can see the height mismatch there. That's going to be tough. And Ant just kind of awkwardly walks away. Yep. Good luck. Didn't help him up. Could have done that. Bit rude. As we head over to Dan on the far sideline.
Score update for you here, Andy. Underground are up 3-0 against Melbourne Phoenix.
Melbourne Phoenix continuing to have a tough time. Weren't able to jag a win yesterday and not out to a great start this morning. So hopefully they can respond, as can hopefully Chile. And there's going to be an offside call. So now they'll get to take it from the brick. They don't need to check it. They're just going to walk it up to the brick and play it. So a little let off for Chile. Some free meters.
Enzo with the disc there.
Oh, what a mess. It's good to go. And once again, Mahoney is in absolutely everything. James French was under it, but Mahoney, sorry. Sean has been best on this first half. See that long disc go up. Sean tracking it well.
It's where experience comes into play, understanding where to position yourself under that disc.
Yeah, for sure. French probably just looked a little bit in two minds. Big fella though.
A good head, taller than the other two status quo defenders there with him.
Tom Regaki telling Mark Junker not to poach. A little bit rich, but anyway. Status quo getting some early movement. Vidler, big crossfield hammer. It's going to work. So you guessed it, Mahoney. Sensible move back inside to Baker. Adam Baker, the captain. Bloomer. They move it up into about halfway. Exploiting through the break side. Hammer fakes hammer. And there's an injury. Hold on, there's going to be an injury. I think it's Steve Thomas. No, it's not Steve Thomas who's gone down. Someone's gone down on the Chile team. So they might run a sub. Yeah, just a little bit of an unintentional collision over on the far sideline.
Yeah, I'm coming on.
So there will be an injury sub.
Yeah, so everyone needs to be behind the white line. Okay, and we're all on the white line or just you're on the white line? And under the flag.
So a momentary pause in play just while we make sure the injured player's okay. He's going to shake it off.
Fresh Chile having a sub, status quo electing to keep with their 7 on the field. Of course, if there's an injury, both teams have the chance to swap a player.
So coming in from this check, what status quo really need to do quickly is adjust their structure. They've got too many players around the disc, so you'll see them clear that out now and just leave the space. And they do it really well. That's Owen Shepherd with the goal. Crafty footwork from the old fella. Veteran move and status quo jump out. I think that's now 5-1. So Millie, you saw this this status quo team at regionals. Said it was obviously very tight with them and I-beam.
Yes, yeah, there was hotly contested that last qualification spot for Division 1. So yes, they pulled out to an excellent lead against I-beam, and I-beam just had to claw it back in the second half.
Unusual little spike there from Owen through the disc on the ground.
And status quo doing, beautiful conditions for hammer throws. They've had quite a number of hammer throws that have resulted in goals or opened up the field.
Yeah, they're getting it their way. I played a tournament with Owen 10 years ago. We're playing Sockeye, one of the best teams in the world. We're getting thumped. It's like 4-5, 6-0. We guts our way up to get it probably just outside our end zone line. And this man's never spiked the disc in his life. And he catches the goal, spikes it and walks away, and all of a sudden Sockeye pick up the disc and throw the goal the other way. About 10 metres inside the field of play. He thought he was in, spiked it, and back then the rule was, if you drop it, you drop it. So we've never let him live that down. So
he would have been pretty dirty at the end of that point.
He was dirty. We were dirty on him. Oh, and we're getting smashed as we see Regaki.
Looking
holsters,
deep.
Eyes all up.
Matthias with the disc.
This is better.
Ledro with the disc. Looking for the dump. Forces a turnover. He was looking for a dump there and it was just a bit congested around the disc and forced him to flick it downfield.
Yeah, he tried to ABBA. Probably, I reckon he looked at his dump maybe a bit late, found himself panicking a little bit, and that's a stall 9 bailout kind of throw. And well done from Ewan Wyman to suck his player under, because it wasn't actually, executionally, it wasn't too bad a throw. So Troy Booth with the disc, brings it in. He wants a big backhand. He sends a big backhand. Going to be a pack grab. Tom was closing in quick, but he managed to reel it in. Did Adam Baker. Adam Baker fakes the hammer. And they throw the goal.
Rowan Hess with the goal.
So 6-1. Status quo making a statement.
They are moving that disc up very easily up the field.
It was a nice throw from Boothie. Nice flat backhand. Thought for half a second we were going to see the Regaki of old. You'll see him here.
Just come out of thin air.
Oh. But like you say, nice grab from Baker. Good patience.
A lot of Fresh Chile were quick to get down there in defence. Quite a lot of defensive players down there.
Dan, over to you.
Well, I managed to just grab Joel Moskovich, one of the players for Chile, and I asked what's happening over there. And he said they're just smart. And status quo, of course, they took I-beam at regionals all the way and nearly knocked out the Newcastle Div 1 team. So legitimate in their own way.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think Chile probably acknowledged the strength of the team coming in. I don't think they anticipated a 6-1 deficit.
not only are you playing with the experience of skills, but you've also got that mindset experience as well that status quo brings.
Yeah, totally. So this pool will just come back in. It's a really nice one. It's going to put the pressure on. Junker. Long lefty backhand to Thomas. And French is going long. Toei instead elects maintain possession to Mark Junker. Left-hander. It's the under, and is it Sean again? He's everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. 3 votes, give it to him. Lock it in right now, Sean O'Mahony. If he brings that back to his native land in the Limerick Challenge, his status quo are going to have a very good tournament. Ooh, fair bit of attention. Bid under, made some contact. An apology from the Chile player. It's going to go back.
Look at the replay here.
I think there was a travel called. I don't think it was a travel, but I think a travel was called. Yeah, it was. Yeah, there's a discussion about.
It's always difficult in self-refereed sports to make calls and make the right calls.
Yeah. But part of something that makes our sport unique and special as we see Toei peel off. Can't get to it. There's a chance for some real flow here. Shepherd with the disc. Looks to step around. He's going to throw a little dishy backhand. And now the hammer goes up to you-know-who. Sean can't bring it down. Nice D in the end.
Great work by the fresh Chile player to get up there and just have enough pressure to...
Well done from Junks. Junks is going to run it to the line. Looks for the flick. Instead, no, goes then with the flick. Shepherd had a sniff, couldn't get it. Steve Thomas with the disc.
Gomez Perez with the disc.
This is a little better now. Oh, pick called. And Toei, his head went, Steve Thomas' head went up. It's the first chance he'd had all day. Put it on my head, Mark, but unfortunately the pick was called, so they will catch up. It was between Mark Junker and Sean O'Mahony. And we wanted the foot race, but now instead it'll go long.
Gomez Perez with the catch. Looking to dish it off.
Calls the timeout. Interesting, I thought you meant, I think it was either Adam Woods or Ian Roxburgh. They were right there. I think it was Woods. It seemed right there. I thought that was going to be D, but I don't know if he just lost it in flight or in the sun or something like that. But yeah, well done from Gomez Perez to.
I can have a look at the replay here.
So that's the first D. That's unreal from Sean. Just got an excellent position on Enzo. Then another pretty decent bid. Unintentional contact.
Look here for the hammer.
Yeah, well done from Mark, although Sean had a fair chunk of it too, so good no call. And then the timeout.
Probably a wise call. He started to look for dumps and didn't have anyone around him.
Yeah, so critical that that Fresh Chile convert this 6-1 down. And Dan, I think you have an insight into what the messaging was.
Yeah, status quo are expecting some sort of isolation play and are setting up a defence for that.
Interesting. So, Fresh Chile. Can they put their second on the board and maintain some kind of proximity to status quo? Statistically, coming out of timeouts, there's an unusually high correlation that the first throw is a turnover. I'm not putting the Moz on him at all. Raymond Chong with the disc.
Will so status quo have the poach. We've got a Chile player back here free.
Well back. So Moscovich giving up a lot of territory.
Gomez Perez with the disc.
This is better. This flows a little bit better now.
was a little bit of contact when catching that disc. So
yeah, they're going to call a goal. There was a pick call actually in the stack, but I think they had a look. And O'Mahony and Thomas just having a chat. Really nice to see Sean just explaining, I guess because Steve couldn't see what was behind him. He felt some contact, but Sean was actually going, look, believe it or not, I was trying to pull out.
You can just see a bit of a replay here.
High count. Yeah, so Sean, you see he tries to turn his body to not make contact. Happy to give him the goal straight away. And another timeout, so I think this will be status quo. It must be status quo's first because Chile have used both of theirs for the half. You get 3 timeouts a game. You can use a maximum of 2 in any one half.
They didn't succumb to your curse there.
No.
They did a great job of moving that disc around with the handler to open up space there to eventually get that goal in the end zone.
Yeah. I'm running a tally with Anna, one of our fellow commentators. I think we're on 4 each.
4 each, yeah.
4 commentators' curses each. So. Yes, going at 1 a game, so can't wait to see when I bring it out this game. And we'll keep track for you as well.
Yeah. Wonderful.
So status quo had pretty much all their own way in this first half.
Have a look at the 2 circles there. Quite passionate speeches coming from Fresh Chile's leadership, and status quo sort of more chilled out in their circle.
Totally. And I think Dan actually had an insight into the status quo circle. So Dan, what can you tell us?
Yeah, just listening in, they were talking about how they feel the Fresh Chile team really isn't that deep on throwers, identifying the 3 of Junker, Tom Regacki and Joel Moskovich as the main threats and getting tighter on the dump.
Yep, I think that's pretty clever, Millie. You mentioned it. You know, there's experience, in that Frisbee IQ, and if they start identifying probably the more confident throwers versus the not so confident throwers, they can make life even harder for Chile.
We've got Regacki with the pull for Fresh Chile.
And Tom won't want to take this lying down. This 6-2 score line won't sit at all well with him. So wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing the great man play a few more points.
Well, this scoreline's probably his height, isn't it?
And the rest. Yeah, and that pull, we should say it all. Nice deep pull to start with. Owen Shepherd with the disc. Receiving pass to Antow. Antow back to Shepherd. Shepherd wants to see a stack. Doesn't. Munkara Kerr back to Shepherd. Back to Munkara Kerr. This is probably the first time we're not seeing too much flow. Nice flying bid. Not honoured. And now one over the head, and Chile have the first turn. Tom gets it in his hands, wants to see a few options present, can't see anything he likes, instead goes short and under.
Bachman with the disc. Up the line to Tafer. Looking for that swing to Regacki.
Jack on Dow, you love to see it. Back to Tafer, nice give go from Tafer, opens up the width of the field. Moves it across to Godinzeni. Godinzeni back to Gak. Gak low one, but it works. That's to Abba Matthias. Matthias looks for Regacki. Oh, Dow got a little touch on that. Now he's going to go and run it the other way. There are no players upfield, so Owen has to hold. Just play the small ball for a bit. Now there's one long with Weimer. He's going to reel it in. Excellent work from status quo. Gak pushed it just that little bit too far on that inside flick, and Ant read it, and there was a nice thick edge for us hearing it. Not sure if our mics picked it up.
And then status quo got that turn, and we're very quick at moving that disc to get Fresh Chile chasing their players.
So Ant Dow, plenty of smiles. We'll see if we can get some time. Ant, did you happen to get anything on that?
A little bit.
Oh, a little bit? Yeah, okay.
Just enough.
Yeah, okay, good. And it's nice that you let Tom know about it as well.
Yeah. You got it. Such rare opportunities, you see.
Very good. And Ant, you're getting everything your own way to start with. I think 7-2 now. Did you anticipate this coming out?
No, not at all. I mean, we knew we had to come out hard. Otherwise, that's steamrollers. We saw the other game. I think they came out hard against the other team and did the opposite. So hopefully we can keep it going for sure.
Nice work. Good luck for the second half.
Thank you.
I really liked Fresh Chili's offense there. They were moving the disc around a lot more in their handler space and spreading the field a bit wider, which is a bit different to what we saw in the first half of this half.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like, it's hard to say when you've got a 7-2 scoreline to take positives, but I agree with you. I think their last 3 points have certainly been better than their first 3. The fact that they even got a turn as well.
Yes, yeah.
Chong, Thomas.
Maybe a travel called there?
Travel called on Junker? No, it's on Chong. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're necessarily going to set a mark. No, they won't. Thomas wants it under, but Bloomer comes in hard, and Thomas didn't appreciate that. They haven't made a call. They're still having a chat in the stack. Instead, Junker just wants to play some frisbee. And the cuts have really dried up. I don't know if it's because there was basically a discussion happening during the point. But now Thomas gets under, throws one, it curls in.
Harrison White for the goal. It's French to Harrison White. You could hear the sideline here, Status Quo getting quite animated with their defence.
And a little apology going on from Bloomer and Thomas. Thomas slowed down and Bloomer kind of didn't pick it up. He wasn't paying attention. Probably had some of that mop of hair in his face. Couldn't see that the toe was actually changing directions, and he just clattered into the back of him a bit. But this time, Thomas gets free, lets one go. I think that was to French, was it? Yeah.
Yep, that's French, and then White there in the end zone.
Nice way to finish. And, you know, again, we were talking about turnover positions. You see an unusual amount of, that easy, open, you're 3 metres out from the end zone kind of throw. They're the ones that you grass, So nice to see Chile not do that. Put another score on, 3-7, try and elongate this half. See if we can get another good pull from Rigaki, that last one from this end. Back corner, that's where you want to land it. It gives your defence every opportunity to try and get down there for the first pass.
A little bit of gust of wind picking up here.
Yeah, you're
coming
right.
from the top left of your screen to the bottom right.
It's going to be another good one. Lands just in, fumbled. Over to Shepherd.
So Chile putting on a bit of a zoney defence, working Patterson for the intercept there.
And so now Gaki back with the disc, sees too many under, he wants the hammer, fakes the hammer. Instead, decides to move it out to Godinzini. That's Patterson. Patterson fakes, flick, goes backhand. Miller. Should engage Gak nice and early. Does. Throws him into space. There's a face mark, so he goes a stall 9, backhand, Hark. Godinzini caught one in the gob, but I don't think there's a call. There's not. There'll be I think there might be a stall call, because that count got nice and high.
Having a look at the replay here.
Yeah, so
goes up, I think, 2.
Uncontested?
Is it uncontested or contested? So we're coming on.
Yeah.
I swore he was going to float it.
Okay, so I think it's an uncontested foul. It's coming in on 0. So now what Miller needs to do is Gak's getting face marked. That means the dump is predominantly looking at the face. The defender is predominantly looking at the face of the dump. But that means they can't be looking at where you throw it. So this needs to be a throw into space for Miller. It can be difficult for new players. So you'll see that, there we go, that's a little bit better. Gak puts it up, and then Gak sends a hammer to Godinzini, who this time is free, and they've got a break. Well done from Miller, well done from Godinzini and from Gak.
7-4 to Status Quo.
This is good. This is building a little bit more momentum. So so as a dump, you've got player looking at you, so if the throw goes into space, 9 times out of 10 you're going to have the advantage, and that's what you saw here down in the left corner. That throw go out, and Gak, ideally the other pair's not there, but Gak will always have that natural advantage because the thrower has thrown it to his advantage.
sometimes it's a bit difficult to recognise when your dump is being face marked, because a lot of the time players are drilled to have the dump initiate that movement. So it's that sort of next level up of recognising that your dump is being face marked and to put it out into space.
Yeah, and and Gonanzini happy with himself. And the key for the dump is to stand absolutely still. You know, so the player with the disc knows it's on them. Then I'm not going to do anything until you throw it first, because what you want to try and avoid is that nightmare. You know, you zig and they zag, and as soon as they throw it, you've moved in the other direction. So by standing absolutely still, it's some body language. As you see, Tom's pull probably go out. I don't know if it'll turn over. It might. Just out of bounds. Yeah, it's some really positive body language to make sure the thrower knows that they're dictating the play.
It's the first time we've had a pull sort of upwind for a little bit. The wind coming again from the top left of your corner to the bottom right, coming in sort of gusts, but not too much.
Yeah, that looks like a straight up mark on Shepherd. Ant Dow comes out wide, marked by Regaki, just holds it. Gak with the mark now, wants to get one back. Dow foot blocking Gak earlier on. And Chile have actually ramped up their defensive intensity here, which is exactly what we want to see. Pin called on Ant Dow by Gak. It's a cracking matchup, that one. But it's nice to see a bit more intensity on the mark, intensity in the stack. You'll see all of the Chile players right on their players.
And you can see Weimar with the disc was having to fake and pivot to really work and open up that space for his throw.
Handing them in on the sideline. Woods to Shepherd. Shepherd right in the corner. They want to try and get it off this sideline. That Mankara Kerr swings it out. And this is where they're going to get more luck. Keeping it over this sideline. Sasha Vidler. Across Mankara Kerr. Right across to Crocker to Shepherd. Now this is the better side for them to be on, because they can easily move it back. Crocker swings it across right into the middle of the field. Weimar got it, slipped, he's okay. Really extends that big. He's got such a big reach. He goes up the line. Got it, Zenny. Thought he had a bid, but Weimar did enough. Nice little throw and go.
Beautiful. Status Quo finally taking half, getting to 8 points. It's taken them a few points to get there.
Agree, but something early to build on for Fresh Chile. I mean, I think we were looking down an 8-2 half. At least they got a couple of put a couple of breaks in. They will be coming out on offense, which is nice.
And they're starting to have their offensive movements moving around the disc a little bit more and retaining possession of that disc longer than the first couple of points.
Yeah, so we're going to head over to Dan, who has the man of the half. He was in everything, particularly in the first part of that half. Sean O'Mahony. Dan.
Yeah, here was Sean. You're in everything, mate. How do you get that kind of form heading into nationals?
I suppose we've been building up to this for the whole season, and I think from the very first game we saw Chile play, we were like, these guys are going to be the guys who are going to push us the hardest in this pool, and we've just been trying to build up to that level, looking at them, trying to see what they do and build up to that level. So we came into this game really focused and really intense, and I think in our season that's something we've been focusing on, just starting well with the first 4 points, and once we do that we can maintain that energy, hopefully.
Well, it was an excellent start. Arguably couldn't have gone any better. They fought back in that a little bit there, but you've steadied and taken half. How are you going to win this game now?
I think that last point is how we're going to win the game. It's just trusting our structures, taking nice decisions, not rushing, just dump swing score. Yeah, nice and easy. That's how we're going to win it.
All right, thank you very much, Sean. I'll let you get back to the boys. Back to you, Andy.
Thanks, Dan. Please pass some feedback on to Sean. There's no place for that kind of humility. You know, you talked about him having a cracking half, and then he did the really boring talk about the team stuff. He was on fire. If you have that kind of half, you are more than welcome to just tell everyone how good you are. So we'll make sure that feedback gets back to Sean. Millie, your observations of the first half, anything, what would your message to Chile be?
Work on that patience with the disc, looking at your dump nice and early, and trusting that your dump will get free. I think that's been working for them when they've been able to open up the field.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. We've probably noticed 2 or 3 turnovers come just either they're not looking at their dumper early enough, or they, and that doesn't come off, or the count gets so high that they end up just needing to kind of put a speculator long, and I don't think we've seen one of those come off. So I think you're spot on, and but at least defensively, they made life a bit hard. Well, I mean, they put 2 breaks in against status quo, which is a great start, and they even got a turn in that last point. So I think if they can look at the second kind of stanza of that first half and go, right, let's do that and build on that, because I think, you know, your first 6 points will probably be points they don't want to see too many times.
Yeah, no, they definitely upped the intensity on defence. You could see that they made status quo work really hard for those points, and shut off their first option.
So the teams will switch sides, and the team that started on defence will now come out on offence. It's a little a small consolation for Chile, because they'll at least be receiving the disc.
Over to you, Daniel.
Well, I just had a chance to listen in on the huddle for Fresh Chile. Tom Regacki starting to take the reins a little bit and speak up. He said the words exactly were, "This is now for us to go and chase down. I want to see some blocks." They're also going to make a slight adjustment with Ethan Taifa going to move across to offense for the second half.
Nice one. Interesting. Yes, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, and once that competitive spirit gets flowing, especially from the GAC, yes, hopefully we're going to see. If he wants more blocks, the best way to do that, Tom, is go out and get one. So we hope we see that. So we're about to bring in the second half.
Just some replays here of some of the goals, Fresh Chile.
Seeing that replay, I mean, obviously unintentional contact, but Toey's probably had a tough half. That was his second or third bit of contact, and didn't appreciate it too much. But the great thing about the game, it's all based on respect and communication, which, you know, there was communication after the point between Sean and Steve. The sun really starting to turn into a nice day, Millie.
It is.
Might be a beach day.
Jackets on, jackets off, sun's out, sun's behind the clouds.
As we're ready for the pull, Troy Booth will pull. Hopefully it won't be a flick pull. No, it goes with the traditional backhand this time, and it's a nice pull. Moskovich to pick up. Junker at the brick mark. Across to Taifa. As Dan said, he's the one moving across to offense. And, oh, nice. Nice grab from Toei. Again, there's not contact, but definitely proximity. I think the call is that Steve actually put his arm out to stop. We're blindsided from this angle, but put the arm out to stop his opponent. That's Adam Baker there. They're going to have a chat about it, saying, I tried to put my hand up.
Game advisor just hovering on the outskirts there, but looks like they've come to a decision to send it back.
Contested foul. And again, all the status quo players making friends with Steve Thomas. Taifa looks to engage. Junker, hospital pass, cleaned up. White. And there's a call on the field.
Is that just trying to establish what the call was, whether it was a foul or injury or...
I think I did, but one of those ones. Okay, just like I understand. I don't think I did. I don't think I sped up on the 10.
So you're calling stall?
I'm calling stall.
And you're calling fast count? Okay,
Yeah.
so that's treated as a contested stall?
Yep.
So, yeah, it's stalling 8.
Stalling 8, okay.
All right. Stall's contested, coming in stalling 8.
So after Troy Booth used half a dozen incorrect signals, we worked out that it's a contested stall. So the stall will come back in on 8. So not a lot of time. There's every chance we're going to see a long shot here because Chile's offense admittedly is looking pretty messy right now. And that's what happens. See a high one go up. Thomas, go gadget arm. And that's the throw, Millie. That's the one. It's a little hard. That's not a curse because I didn't say it that time.
You didn't.
But that throw is harder than it looks.
You got a bit excited, saw that White was open in the end zone, just did not execute that very difficult pass. It's a turn for status quo.
Bloomer with the disc. Looks for just a chat between Moskovich and Mahoney. So a little bit of contact unintentionally between the two players. So Mahoney will return to his original position where the foul was, and then gets the disc anyway. Oh, Mahoney puts a flick. And Toey, nice D, nice tall. And there is a call.
He got just the finger to it, but did he initiate contact to get that tip?
There's a call with Baker. I'm not sure which player it's against because there were two players right there in the vicinity.
Watch the replay. Mahoney puts it up. Bit of a push in the back by 75 there.
Yeah, it was Harrison White. It wasn't against Toey. So uncontested foul. Booth to Neil Roxburgh. And now there's a travel called from Thomas on Booth, who is incredulous. He's just in shock, cannot believe it. It's all right, Troy, just tap it in and get on with it. Nice little bit of theatre from Booth and Thomas. The wide one, Chile want to keep him out. Count gets high. Bloomer looks for the wide around break. And there's a foul called by Bloomer on Moskovich. He looked for that around break. Must have been contact with the hand.
Disco will come back in at 0. Stall count will be 0.
And after a little bit of work and a little bit of chat, status quo get the first break of the second half.
Mahoney for the goal.
And a little bit of a follow-up chat from Thomas and Booth on the sideline. They're all smiles. They're having a good time.
Great to see Fresh Chile really bringing out both like good offense and strong defense there. That was quite a long point for the first half of the first point of the second half.
Agreed.
I mean, there were a few calls in there that may have extended it a little bit, but they were resolved.
And Sean playing an absolute blind-up. So not the start Fresh Chile would have wanted on it from a scoreboard perspective, Millie, but like you say, at least the intensity and the grit is starting to come.
Well, we saw a couple of blocks and contested stalls, so
yep.
Yeah, they've brought the intensity. Maybe just like the sunshine coming out to play in the second half. Troy Booth with the pull. Flick forehand.
They can use this.
Chong with the disc. To Junker. Junker's looking for the pull up to Regaki.
Tom's pulling that down 9 times out of 10. Throws the little goal.
To Tafer there.
Nice grab. Sasha, not a lot he can do. Sitting under that. Tom clearly with the height advantage.
Fresh Chile will be happy with that quick offensive point there.
Yeah, I don't think that's the last time we're going to see that play.
Using your height to your advantage, but I mean, there is, tall, but Tom also has a great read on the disc as well. So makes it a very deadly weapon down in that deep zone.
Yeah, just waited for the deep space to clear out. took it high. And a little shaky to Tafer, but hey, ends and means.
So it looks like Taper may be back on the offensive line.
Yep.
Beautiful day for top of the pool. We've got status quo and fresh chili. Winner will be the top of the pool for this side of the draw.
Yeah, which obviously gives them the best chance of furthering that. They'll play a lower seed from the other pool in the crossover. Shepherd, a nice worm burner to start things out. And we're going to see a junk here from Chile. So Chile trying to mix things up. A zone where players are marking a space rather necessarily than a player. But status quo not struggling with it too much thus far. Low one, and Tom Rigaki, he said it at halftime. He said, I want to see some blocks, and he's bringing the blocks. Gak, nice, long, leading backhand. Godinzini. They want to just maintain this. Tom will go mental if we give it away on that big block. He tries to get it, he gets denied under instead. A nice flick break. Patterson moves it up, and there's a long one to Steve Thomas, who's got the set, and Chile have a break. 6-9. Well done from Gak. He demanded his players lift, and he's leading by example.
That was a great block, and then some great patience there with Chile, with some very smart choices up the field, which then opened it up for that disc to Thomas.
Totally, and Millie, you spoke earlier about reading and experience, and Tom saw what that throw was and got right in front of it, got the bid. He was coming in from the deep. Weimer hadn't seen him.
And that was a great job there, no contact, got the disc very clear of his player.
Yeah, so it was Gak then throwing the goal to Steve Thomas. Had a good sit. Shepherd not able to make a bid. So a timeout's been called.
You can just sense the momentum shift. I think earlier in the game, Steve Thomas was in the end zone for a similar disc with two status quo defenders and didn't misread the disc, whereas that time he was all over it despite the defense. So I guess there's a bit of a mental shift that I'm sensing from fresh Chile here. They are seeming a lot more confident out on the field and a little bit more directive in what they want to do, score points.
All right, so let's get some insight from Dan. Dan, what have you heard? You were near the status quo chat.
Yeah, Sean O'Mahony asking for more energy, needing to lift, and those on the sideline need to give their energy to those on the field.
Yeah, and that's a hallmark of more established, more mature teams, is that they understand the role and power the sideline can have for the 7 players on the field. Yeah, Millie, we speak about Tom Rigaki leading by example. I think you probably look at Sean's game so far, and if he's asking that of his players, it's fair to say he's given that himself on the field.
Absolutely. They don't they say colloquially the 8th player is the sideline?
Yeah, definitely, and it's a big squad, right?
It is.
Looks one of the larger teams here. So also gave Chile a chance to probably just ratchet things up a bit as you see a nice long pull from Tom. That's going to make the end zone. And it's going to roll around. So they've got a real chance. And they've got a turn right on the end zone line. So a good pull, a good run down has got them a turn. And you better believe no one else other than Tom Rigaki is going to pick up this disc.
A couple of the Chile players there just calling for calm, for patience.
It's this ISO that you spoke about, Millie. Tom fakes out, there's no mark. And no call from Thomas.
Disc dropped. Status quo. Baker with the disc.
Shepherd directing, he wants to see a stack, he wants to see some structure. Gets to Weimer. Weimer does the right thing, centers the disc to Dow, who then hits Shepherd.
Shepherd calling for the disc to stack to tidy up. Multiple status quo players trying to occupy the same space.
Oh, that's a heartbreaker. That's a heartbreaker for Chile. Had a great pull, great rundown, got the pressure turn. Just needed to complete that 1 metre pass. And instead of a 9-7, they're now looking at a 6-10.
And this is where status quo's experience can come in. They can position themselves. They don't necessarily need to use athleticism or speed to occupy that space.
Yeah.
And just force that turnover from fresh Chile.
Yeah, the pushy just slipping through Steve Thomas's hands.
But what I'm intrigued to see how fresh Chile respond, whether they will let that sort of dwell or whether they'll come back out fighting and take the next point.
Yeah, it's a good point because you can go, oh, we couldn't complete the 1 yard pass on our end zone line, or you can say we got a turn in their end zone through a great pull and a strong run down. And the rundown especially, how quickly you run down to mark your player, that's like the most controllable thing you can do as we see another flick pull from Troy Booth. Even if you're having a mare, just do that. It's just literally running quickly. So, take the positives out of that they got a turn early. As Junker goes and he puts a nice long backhand deep. This one will float and sit, both players, a bit of contact, but no call.
That was White for Chile and Rowan Hess for status quo.
Charlie Bloomer going to the disc. Nice long one out to Sean O'Mahony. Marked by Chong. Sean looks back, throws the angle flick. Bloomer, 2 fakes. Then under to Roxburgh. He lets one go to Sean, who has a great time reading it. They're dodging each other, and Sean's going to make a call, yeah. I think the call will be a blocking foul, I guess. Because he ran in the way. Really interesting here, because the throw came out, and they both had to really adjust. So he's trying to box out.
He wasn't making a bid himself.
It kind of looks like White there just didn't know where the disc was and ran across the field. It doesn't appear that it was trying to cut him off, but that was still the result of the play.
I feel like I was running for the frisbee and someone cut across in front of me, so he wasn't making a bid on the disc.
Yeah, there was like a deviation in your path, which he's entitled to do if he's making a bid at it. It's hard for me to determine if he's doing that to block you or to make a bid. I think he was trying to get in position to read it.
Okay. Is that considered making a bid?
If he's getting in position to get to the disc, then yes. He's allowed to try to get in your way as long as he's still going for the disc.
Okay.
Because I couldn't see where it was.
Yeah.
It was in the air up here, so I'd kind of come across here to look at it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that was my objective. Like, you didn't know where the disc was, so you just ran in front of me. But if you're getting in position,
But so
if his only intention is to block you and nothing else, then that is a blocking violation.
Retracted.
Yep.
We had a little bit of insight there into the discussion with the game advisor with Sean Mahoney and White about the blocking foul that was retracted there.
Yeah, that's a great example of our game in action from a rules perspective. Sean not too sure. He believed there may have been a foul, but asked the expert for a clarification on the rules, got one, and was happy to retract the call. So well done from Sean. And from Steve, the game advisor. So Chile, pinch one inside. Mark Junker. Oh, he's gone down. Is he all right?
I think a stoppage is called.
I think he's going to be making his way off. Hopefully he'll stand rather than crawl. Yeah.
Now there was that a bit of contact, or?
He went to step around. Oh yeah, Sean kind of inadvertently got in his way. So Sean in everything at the moment.
went down. Looks like there's a sub for fresh chili, but status quo have also chosen to have a sub.
Yeah, this Sash Vidler coming on for Goyma. So Charlie off, Sasha on.
So whenever there is an injury call, both teams, regardless of which one the injury happened, are entitled to swap one player.
So critical chili keep this one. Gak gives the nod, then looks to send it. Instead, really balanced hammer.
Back to Tafer. And so with the disc, looking for that flick, he really wants that up the...
Sean, great pressure on the throw.
He really wanted to throw that disc upfield. He wasn't looking for a dump pass or resetting that disc at all.
No time for a dump, no. So we're going to have a great angle here. With Tom marking Troy Booth. Ex-teammates now on opposing teams. The grudge matchup. Troy taking things super seriously. Booth with it. Engages, doesn't engage the dump, instead looks upfield, hits Wally Crocker. Wally Crocker back to Vidler. And there's a travel call on Chong. Sorry, by Chong on Wally Crocker.
I don't think so.
I think they're asking whether that affected the play.
There's been a couple of calls, but I'm not sure if we're across the rule, right? So you are allowed to throw in the course of the movement. Like you don't have to stop. You think you stopped and then started again?
No. Well, okay. That's fine.
Discussing a travel call here.
Could I get an opinion, sorry?
They've called the game advisor in. You can probably hear the audio there in the background.
It's the second time it's happening in the play. In my opinion, that's not a travel. Like you caught it and threw within a step.
Yeah, that's right. The rules will change in the 2021 rules to allow up to 3 steps.
Yeah, he lifted his left leg and then he threw.
That's okay.
So he was.
Yeah, so he's saying
you're allowed to throw in the air.
He was the left leg up.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to establish your pivot for it. I tell you what, if... Yeah.
We need to resume play, please.
Yeah, Sasha's this. Is that, can we get a hand signal at all?
Sorry, are you saying that he doesn't have to plant his left foot?
He doesn't have to plan a pivot if he catches and throws on the move.
Okay.
This is the point I was trying to make.
Okay.
All right, so eventually we get clarification on the rules. Sasha just couldn't let it go, but good opportunity to educate players on the rules. And Sasha, ironically enough, interesting pivot. It's Sean O'Mahony. Sean Booth on Thomas.
Back to Booth. Vidler with the disc. Looking at Booth, looked off. Back to Vidler.
High count.
Ron Hess with the disc. Hammer.
You know who? Sean Mahoney.
Catches that disc.
More intensity, better intensity from Chile. They should be happy with that.
Quite a few passes. Status Quo have very good with their quick handler movement.
And you'll just see some of the more experienced heads, Sash and Tom, having a chat, just clarifying the rules and the changes to the rules. There have been, I think, Millie worth saying, have been some changes to the rules
I
as
think
we head to Dan.
Over to you, Daniel. You've got some insight.
Yeah, just a score update from the far field. Underground continue to write their resume for potential champions. They're up 9-4 against Melbourne Phoenix.
Strong
Thanks,
tournament
Daniel.
thus far from Underground, Millie.
Fairly new team from Canberra, Underground. Little discussion happening off sideline about some of the rules. It's always difficult in a self-refereed. Each player has to complete their advanced rules accreditation, but there are quite a lot of rules, and it is useful to have some game advisors, especially when they update them every couple of years.
Oh, and that pull just landing out.
You ever seen Frozen, Sasha? Yeah. What's that song? What's that song in the first?
Let it be. Let it go. No, there we go.
Champion for the rules, Sash. I love it.
A little bit of contact there on the mark. Ryan with the disc to Miskovic. Gomez Perez with the disc, looks deep. Thomas with the disc now, looks deep. Short dishy, back to Gomez Perez.
It's a bit clunky in the offense from Chile. They've pushed them further and further back. There is a pick call. I don't think it's affected that throw necessarily.
However, I think, although that they are being pushed back, there's some great handler movement happening here, which I think was lacking at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's great to see from Fresh Chile. There just doesn't seem to be any cuts coming from downfield. It's very steady.
Nice break. A little bit more flow now.
Great to see White getting involved in the play there. Still.
Moskovic having to give up a lot of ground, but makes it forward to Matthias. Chong comes out, he's poached. Chong's poached, they've switched now. And a nice throw again out to the open space, a break. Moskovic continues to break to Matthias.
Looking for that dump nice and early.
And there's a call. So, something, I don't know if this is what Joel was saying, but something that can kind of make it hard for a dump or a handler is the thrower engages you, particularly if it's early, and then they disengage you and they start looking upfield again. You're like, all right, well, what do you just kind of reset up your cut? Do you get out? Because then they're going to look at you again in a few seconds' time. So I think, back to that point we're making around the dump earlier, like intent is really important. Just making sure that through your voice and through your body language, your intent is clear. And that's hard if you then change your mind kind of, mid-count.
And you've also got to respect your dump that sometimes it takes them a couple of seconds to manoeuvre their defence around. Game advisor just coming in, probably just checking what the disc will come in at. So was that a contested stall out?
No, so an uncontested foul. He looks break, nice beard, can't make it. That was Abba, and it's going to be now there might be a contested call. Uncontested foul. Could pick it up a little bit on the mic there that status quo player wasn't convinced it was a foul, but said, if you are sure, I'll trust you. So what's happened? Looks at the break backhand again. And now let's one backhand go on the open side, and that'll be a pick call. Pick. So a few calls at this point.
You always wonder when there's one player free and running for the disc and everyone else is chilled out with their hands on their hips.
Particularly around the open side. Yeah, definitely a pick. You can see it on the left of screen there. Yeah, you can hear the commentary. It was floating for quite a long time, which would have given, had it not been a pick, it would have given their defender a shot at it.
But you've got to catch those discs because had he not caught it, it would have been a turnover.
So a lot of attention coming. Nice grab from Moskovic, keeps it alive. Owen playing really tight dump D. Moskovic pushes one too far. Tries to go the inside flick break, incomplete. And Fresh Chile trying to keep touch. And we'll see another timeout.
Timeout called.
So as we head into this timeout, we'll head over to Dan and get an update from the other side of the field.
Well, over there it's 11-4, but I was just watching the Moscovic-Shepherd matchup. Owen Shepherd is wearing Joel Moscovic like one of those cheap knitted shirts. It's or very uncomfortable, and you can see that Moscovic is actually struggling. Even though he's still getting the resets, he's uncomfortable under that pressure.
Yeah, it's a great point, Dan. Something I noticed was that when that pressure starts to come, Joel's actually moving in closer to the thrower, which can actually make it harder then for the thrower to feel like they've got space. And so everything just gets a little bit closed in, a little bit claustrophobic.
Fresh Chili playing through 3 main players there. Moscovic, Thomas.
Yep.
So coming back from the timeout, status quo will set up offense first, and once they've set their offensive structure, Fresh Chili will set up their defense before the disc is checked in.
Yeah, it's an interesting comment you make about the offensive styles. Like you say, they were predominantly moving it through people like Thomas and Moscovic, whereas status quo, probably a lot more level across the board. And you expect that with a Masters team. They've, all played for a long time. Most of them picking it up in uni, as most players in our sport kind of do. So they're using all 7 players as a threat, which is, I think, part of what makes their offense a lot easier. So Shepherd with the disc. Done a lot of pointing today, Owen. And now the heavy dump defense from Matthias making life hard. Makes Antau come out, work hard. Owen coming back. Owen, every second disc at the moment. Hits Weimer. Weimer at the brick mark, winds up. Elects to instead go under to, you guessed it, Owen Shepherd. Weimer out on the far side now. Looks flick. Instead. And now throws flick. Adam Woods. Back to Weimer. And Weimer looks for the goal. Oh, Antau. Not the most elegant thing you've ever seen, but maintains possession, which is the important thing. Right at their end zone line with Weimer. 2 dumps go to the same spot at the same time. Shepherd grabs. Easy goal to Weimer. And, a good example is that point where they used at least 5 players, if not more, in that offensive setup. All players being a threat, all players moving around. Makes it really hard to defend.
And status quo having the experience to just choose the low-risk, easy option. There was a lot of short backhand, safe passes there that ensured that pass. And Fresh Chili defender just trying to do a layout bid and losing the player and running up line to get that goal from status quo.
So as we head into the final few moments of this game, all games played to 80 minutes. So about 7.5 minutes left. We'll either add 1 to the highest score after that or play to 15, whichever comes first, as Troy Booth mix up his pulls today. Some backhands, some forehands. The backhands, I think, have probably fared a little bit better, but Troy's a unique unit. So Scholes, Toby Scholes, looks under, and Gack is going long, and it's just put too far. Would have been nice to see a Rigaki-Mahoney matchup.
That throw just needed a little bit more height to play to the receiver of Tom Rigaki, put it up high, let him bring it down.
That's, 6'8", putting it high is not a bad option. So he'll be a little disappointed with that, Gack, but see what happens now with Bloomer with the disc. Fakes the hammer, looks out to the break side. Nice contested grab, that's Hess. Back across to Bloomer. And Gack, nice bid on Mahoney. That's going to be a good matchup. I'm going to enjoy that. Mahoney back to Bloomer. And now Booth. And here's another one. You're going to see it again. This time, Gack not as close. That does get a mark on.
Looking up, Rowan Hurst has gone deep.
Go on. Go on. Too much.
just a little bit too far for Rowan Hess to get to. But interesting to compare the offense from Fresh Chili and Status Quo. There was a lot more movement coming from the stack there, as opposed to Fresh Chili, who were relying a lot on their handlers.
Really static, yeah. So you can hear Chili's sideline, and you spoke about, the power of the sideline for Status Quo. That also goes. Same thing goes for Chili. Start talking to your players, giving them information, and they managed to get a nice bit of flow early, which is good.
It's beautiful.
More positive from Chili.
Great restraint there.
Yeah.
Tafer with the disc.
You can see Tom just setting up, comes under now. But Wally Crocker able to just kind of get himself in there and get in Tom's peripheral vision. Bounced out of Tom's hands.
Just enough to disrupt that focus.
Troy Booth picks up, goes to Charlie Bloomer. Charlie Bloomer, wanted one to Mahoney, but Tom covered it off well.
Great grab by Hess there.
Roxborough. This is better defense from Chili. And there'll be a bit, and that's a nice block
by Riley White.
Showing toe on Booth, gets the block on Troy Booth. He might score the goal on Troy Booth. No, he can't move it out to the break side. And a nice bit by, I think it was Roxborough.
Charles with the disc.
And that's a goal.
Vincent Lederer brings it down.
And there's a call. No call. Goal stand.
7-12. Status Quo. Oh, nope. It's come back. Nope. Goal.
What you said was accurate, though. It was a goal. It came back. It was a goal. It came back, and now it's a goal again. So.
Does that mean that they get 3 goals for that?
It would be exciting. It'd be good for the game.
3/3.
As we head to Dan Clinton on the sideline.
Just noticed something about the Status Quo offense. They've gone to a cross structure. Instead of just going with a straight vertical, they've got one player hanging out on the break side and one player hanging out in the lane. Something that they're trying, and I don't think it's working very well.
No, and we commented on this earlier in the day. Interesting thing about tournaments is you've got to win the games, but you also use those games as opportunities to learn things for future games. So you certainly, if you're Status Quo, you don't want to bank on your lead or take it for granted, but you can use games where you might have a little bit of breathing room to try something new, because you don't want to be kind of pulling that out when it's level and you're doing something you haven't done before. So interesting that Status Quo, throwing a few new looks out there, but hopefully for Chile they can capitalise on that and close this gap a bit.
I'm intrigued to see how this point, the whole of Chile sideline were there on the line supporting their crew, whereas Status Quo just had the 7.
It looks like there might be a zone getting played as we see a big hammer get ripped. Had to be pinpoint and was, and now we'll see if they can move it out. They'll keep that flow going. Weimer has it. Throws out wide. Woods. Here goes the hammer. The shot to the end zone, but now there's a turn. So Chile with a chance. Matthias. Looks back. They give up a lot of ground to Gomez Perez. They get out. That's nice. Max Miller. Hits Patel.
Fresh Chile having a lot more movement this point downfield. Some great work there. So number 18, Miller with the ball.
Foul called. Joel made a move. Got some contact from Sasha. We might get another lesson on the rules, which will be fascinating. And we'll listen and see if we can pick up the discussion.
Okay, yeah,
On 3.
Uncontested foul. So it'll be coming in on 0. Max Miller Now it's critical. If you look at where Chile's players are left of screen, they've all got to clear out. There are too many players in line with the disc. They do that well. They move it out now. And Godinzini to Moskovic. And Moskovic lets one go. It's going to be a sky ball over the head of Max Miller.
So close. He got up there in the air, just fingertips to it, but just couldn't bring it down.
It's a real shame because, like you said, that's probably been the smoothest offense Chile have had. They're going to bring their zone back. Weidler, long scuba over the top to Weimer. Weimer back to Weidler. So they're happy just to bunt it around. Now they'll look for the hammer over the top. They've done that a couple of times. It's Glenn Molnar out there. Haven't called his name much today. Good to see him running around. Weimer. Weidler goes. That sucks the mark around, and they're able to now move it out to the wide side.
Status Quo looking very cool and patient out there.
And you'll see now it's transition. So rather than it being a zone, it's a match call. So everyone's mounting up on another player as a player's gone down. It's Aber Matthias, I think. And that is points cap. So we'll add one to the highest score and play to that. You must score to win. And we'll listen in and see if there's another discussion.
Perhaps a little bit of a foul call here. Contact.
So I think it's a pick call.
Pick call.
All right. So Aber catching up to where he thought he was. Doesn't necessarily need to line up right next to him so long as he was actively marking him. Just tapped in. Weimer has a big look around at the break side. Instead swings across. So Status Quo creating a lot of space, trying to be disciplined here. Weidler, one out wide. Baker flakes the hammer. And the flow from Status Quo looking really good. Being really patient, just hitting open players, not biting on the poachers. There's no real pressure around the handlers, so they can kind of do this all day. Although Sash kind of misread one out of the hand.
Just bounces out.
Jump it, yeah,
Fresh Chile
out.
were quick to react to make sure that that was down. Matthias with the disc. Looks off Max Miller. Not happening upfield. Look at Miskovic.
That's better.
Back to Matthias.
Oh.
Looks up.
Oh, and he won't want to watch that again because he absolutely torched an open under. He had a teammate streaming under. Instead looks up, puts it to empty grass, unfortunately.
It's much better from Fresh Chile. Still Status Quo putting on that pressure for those shots to come off.
I like that you're here, Millie, because I give him a light bake, but you always looking as an optimist. Well, this is what's good. Yeah, okay, you torched your teammate who was streaming open under. But, you know, there are positives. You could hear feedback from the sideline asking the wing of the Chile defence to drop. And a nice grab in the end zone. That one was sitting up a little bit. He's pumped up. He's having a good time.
Ian Roxburgh with the goal there. Just having a look at the players out there, you can see that really took it out of some of the Status Quo players. They
totally
are looking a little bit more tired opposed to the Fresh Chile. Well, I guess that's why they call them Fresh Chile.
I see what you did there, Dan.
Well, at regionals, we saw Status Quo go up 6-2 against I-Beam and then lose that game. Over the course of the season, you often want to see your team improve, learn from their mistakes. At the moment, they're up in this game. You'd like to see, if you're a Status Quo fan, them close this out.
Absolutely. I like that you mentioned it, Dan, giving them the yips. That's good.
So for this game to end, we need status quo to get to 14. Fresh Chile, can they make a comeback to 14? Ever the optimist.
That is optimistic, yes, but it's happened before. We have seen games, you know, some epic comebacks get mounted, so it's not beyond them. But they'll need a lot to go their way. Troy Booth, flick pull. Probably one of the better ones he's thrown. Chile a chance to make a nice long gainer. It's Backman. Throws low backhand, and now one goes deep. This is to Enzor. Great
Catches it
throw.
just on the line.
Here's the hardest easy throw in Ultimate, but the big fella reels it in. He had a little bit of backup out the back, but I think hearts were in mouths for a moment there to see if the disc was going to bobble up.
James French for the score there. Using his height to his advantage.
That's right, throw to height.
Was a little bit of a mouth and...
Heart and mouth moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe, Dan, we've got updates from a few other games that have just finished up.
Yeah, Underground are still undefeated, 4-0 now. They just they knocked off the Melbourne team, Melbourne Phoenix. It was 12-5 in the end over there.
Thanks, Dan. Underground shaping up as one of the contenders in the women's division.
Always great for a relatively new club to come away with some victories.
As we have game point here, status quo. As Dan said, be interesting to see if they can close it out.
Tom Regaki for the pull.
Nice inside out. This will hang. So this is another, similar to the point earlier in the game. They can get down here on the first, second pass. Try and keep status quo hemmed in their end zone. They get out a little bit too easy so far, although another turn. So can this be the start of something? So Tom, this time, first time around off his pull, they're at their end zone line. This time they're about at the halfway line. Tom's got it, holds and throws a nice disciplined flick. The hammer goes. They're on the end zone line, and this one, and it's a goal, so Chile break.
Max Miller for that goal. Is that Toby Shawls for the assist?
So, I mean, it is, what I do know, it's some of their more junior players, and that's exactly what you kind of want to see. It started with Tom, and in the years gone by, Tom might throw it to a Steve Campbell or something like that. You go to what you know, but Tom actually used a lot of discipline, centered the disc, and then it was the young guys. So it was, I mean, the hammer was, bold move, but paid off, ends and means, as we've said. And they put a break on, so
sometimes
move it to 9-13 now.
Sometimes it's having those experienced players on the field that can give that confidence to those younger players, knowing that there's that reset if they need it, and allows them to make those decisions, those cuts a little bit more.
Agreed.
We got Regaki with the pull again, similar looking line.
And as you said earlier, Millie, all of Chile on the sideline, crowding, want to know what the information is. If they know what the defensive structure is, they can repeat it, they can help. So another pull from Tom. This one looks nice. This will be deep again. Forces Shepherd back into the middle of the end zone. Mankara Kerr. Little bit static. Good dump defense. Owen has to zig and zag 3 times to get it out, and they're still in their end zone. So Owen will look to move it out of it now. No, Mankara Kerr back to Shepherd. Nice leading throw. Well done from Owen. Owen again directing traffic with his hand. Goes to Vidler. Vidler lets go with a big hammer. Tom has half a sniff. He probably had more time than he thought, Tom. But status quo have moved it up. Weimer. Baker, back to Weimer. They have a shot here. They can close it down. Weimer looks, sides. Patience is better. Vidler comes right back, gives up a little bit of ground, but they're still around their brick mark. Vidler moves it out wide. Adam Baker. Wyman goes up the line, not honoured. Looks to come inside, not honoured. Tom's got one. He's got a sniff on Dow, and he gets one back. So Chile now with a chance to move it up. Tom with a game-saving D. Steve Thomas. Moving it up patiently, Buckman. This isn't bad from Chile.
Cadenzi with the disc there. Lederer.
Just dump it.
Using a lot of their roster here.
Yeah, that's been the big difference, isn't it?
And having the patience to look for safe options here. Looking at the dump there. There's a lot of movement coming from downfield as well.
And Thomas gets it. Buckman throwing the wide around break made Toey work, but Toey did enough. Steve Thomas.
3 in a row for Fresh Chili.
3 in a row. And I will remind everyone that that 3 started as soon as Dan Clinton reminded us of regionals.
Well, Andy, I'm sorry, but I had to bring it up because...
Give the people what they want, mate.
The past is important, and now at 13-10, gain to 14, status quo have it all to do. There are some nerves over here on the sideline.
So, the neckline tightening just a tiny bit around status quo.
And again, you can see status quo slowly meandering up to the line, and Fresh Chili down there with the whole squad getting around the team that's on the line. So we have Matthias with the pull.
All right, so can Chile bring it a bit closer? 13-10, patrolling the sidelines. They know that they're going to need energy from everyone on the field as well as off it. And this one will just land out. So,
Bit of a gust of wind coming from the left to the right of your screen there.
so Charlie will be throwing into it, won't he?
He will. Just makes those longer throws a little bit more difficult with the timing.
Mahoney, back to Bloomer. Bloomer long around back end. Roxburgh looks under. Nice safe one to O'Mahony. Looks the flick instead. Patient back to Troy Booth. Boothie. Nice one to Roxburgh. Roxburgh looks for the winning goal, and it's D. There's another D. So Chile will have another go. But as you said, Millie, as we watch it, Roxburgh goes throw the winning goal, but it was a nice bid from Sean, but I think he was contending with, a couple of sideline, both the end zone line as well as the sideline.
Sometimes you lose focus when there's so many different things distracting you.
Yeah.
Chile looking to put it deep.
3-1. Oi, big boy! Oh no, Patel just grasped it.
Status quo quick to pick up.
After such a good aerial grab as well. So Sean O'Mahony right in on the corner. He really wants to get this off this line. Charlie Bloomer comes back. He can swing it around. He does, but he shows a lot of it. So Boothie gets deed and caught one after the play, I think. So I don't know if it'll have an effect on the play. Both players went up, but I think he got landed. It may have been cleated.
Having a look at the replay here. Or whether he landed a bit funny with this.
I don't know. We did have a great angle.
Doesn't look like there was any contact there.
Not. So I think it will be a turnover. Yep. But Troy wore one, so he'll be a little tender. Our thoughts are with him at this difficult time. All right, so...
Fresh Chili just outside the
great chance.
End zone there. Throwing downwind. Moskovich taking his time up to the disc.
Patience.
Gomez Perez with the disc there.
Great break.
Moskovic. Just on the end zone there. I think there was a bit of discussion there whether it was in or out. Some players have stopped play. So there's just a bit of discussion on field as to what's going on.
Landed on the line.
See the disc, be ready, big heart, on your toes, Dan. Charlie, cover this. Grizz, sag in, help a step. Grizz, move now.
Can hear Status Quo getting a bit animated on the sideline there. Gomez Perez with the disc.
Be patient. Just pull him out, Joel.
Matthias with the disc. Moskovic with the disc in a similar position.
And they've got another goal.
That's Tafer with the score. 11-13. I think could that be a comeback here?
We're going to go to the prophet himself, Dan Clinton. Dan, what have you got now? Lottery numbers?
No, I feel like I put the mocker on Status Quo, but we'll go to the women's division. NSU Aurora rather have lost to Branch. That's put a cat amongst the pigeons. Underground still undefeated in that division. They're going to go play now. Aurora v Underground to decide top of that pool.
Thank you, Dan.
We have Status Quo walking quite assertively onto the line there with their 7 players, as opposed to Fresh Chili, who have their whole squad out there supporting the 7 on the line.
Yeah, you're spot on. The body language or the team kind of dynamics is, and maybe Status Quo just want to keep it calm, and because offense, the rah-rah probably doesn't serve you as well. But from a Chile perspective, they want to make sure every player is engaged. They know what the call is on offense. They know what the transition is on defense. So I like seeing that from Chile. It shows that everyone's still checked in this game. It would have been really easy for them, 5 points down, to say, okay, well, what's for lunch, or, you know, let's go to the bakery or whatever. No, they are going to fight this one out to the end. As we see Shepherd collect the disc. McCann Kerr back to Shepherd. Looks to Ant Dow. Sasha with it. Can win it here. Owen Shepherd, worn well. Manages to step around, has a beautiful step around. He can throw 360 degrees, Owen. Ewan Weimar looks, Owen, digs, zags, gets it. Wants to go out wide.
There's a nice little shoulder check there.
Again, directing people.
Looks like there's a disc that's come onto the field, so play's just suspended while that disc is removed.
Owen, another wide step around. Just reeled in by McCann Kerr. Gets up. Sash, back to Owen. They've got it to halfway to Ewan Weimar. And this could be it. This could be it. This is it. McCann Kerr, after a few little nervous moments. Status Quo have closed it out against a fast finishing and gritty Chile.
Fantastic work from Status Quo. They really use their whole roster, always open on the undercuts, some short dump passes, creative dump passes at times, and their experience really shone through at the end. But I think it's a great showing from Fresh Chile as well, especially their mental toughness to come back from 13 down to score the next 4 points.
Absolutely, and so we've got a real treat. We're joined, Dan Clinton, joined by what I can only describe as the bionic man, well into his 40s, still going around, looking excellent out there, Owen Shepherd.
Owen, a great win, especially based on that last game from regionals where Status Quo gave up a lead to I-Beam. Were you nervous at all throughout that?
Well, it wasn't the end of the tournament. We're in the middle of the tournament, so we can't be fatigued. I mean, I knew we'd hold out. We were pretty fortunate to get a jump on Sweet Chili. That's unexpected, and it's not common from them. I know they're a great outfit, but we managed to hold on. A little slip shot at the end, but we closed it out.
Which is the important thing at the end of the day. The win goes down in the win column. What's next for Status Quo from here? You get the afternoon off and then a quarter tomorrow morning.
That's right. We've earned top seed in our pool, and so that should give us a top 4 seed entering the quarterfinals tomorrow morning.
All right, well, good luck for the rest of the tournament. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Dan.
We'll go back to you, Andy.
Thanks, Dan, and thanks, Owen. He's a good man, and well done to him and Status Quo for the win. So, Millie, like you were saying, great that Chile were able to probably show a little bit more in the second half than they did in the first. An exciting game all up.
It was fantastic viewing and beautiful day for Frisbee. So shall be interesting to see how the rest of the day unfolds. So
excellent. Well, that's it from us for this game. Of course, our coverage doesn't end here. There will be 2 more games for the rest of the day. So we look forward to you joining us then.